Hello again, folks. Trucker Todd here, and time for another video. The question of the day: is Roadrunner Trucking a bottom feeder, bottom of the barrel company, like some other YouTubers have suggested? The YouTubers I'm referring to are Trucking Answers and Truckers Coach TV and Cash is King Trucking. Now, before I go any further, also I want to throw Freight Waves in there as well. But before I go any further, let me say, I also read Freight Waves from time to time. Trucking Answers with Mark on YouTube is probably one of my favorite YouTubers, if not my favorite YouTuber. And from time to time, I watch Truckers Coach. He's pretty good too. And then Cash is King, I used to be a subscriber, but I don't think I am any longer. Now, recently, I say recently, a couple of weeks ago, a division of Roadrunner Freight that goes by, well, I just drew a blank. Rich Logistics, there it went. Ooh, what's wrong with me today? Rich Logistics laid off 450 people. Now, a lot of people were freaking out, trucking apocalypse, and these guys all shot videos. Oh, Roadrunner's trash, Roadrunner's garbage, nobody should work there, bottom barrel company, bottom feeder, blah, 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 just like Swift, just like CR England, they said it all. Now, do you know what the problem with that is? Trucking Answers, Truckers Coach, Freight Waves, Cash is King. Do you know what the problem with that is? All four of you have one thing in common. None of you have actually worked for Roadrunner. So I'm going to talk today about from a perspective of somebody that's actually worked there and still works there. First of all, and at the end of this, see if you think what kind of company you think they are. When they laid off the Rich Logistics people, and from what I understand, it's an ongoing thing, it was because that division of the company was not profitable. They're trying to streamline it and get it profitable. The division I'm in is profitable. Every one of those drivers, it's my understanding, every one of those drivers that was laid off was offered a job over on this side at Roadrunner Freight. Does that sound like a bottom of the barrel company to you? They were thinking about these drivers' well-being and trying to assist them. They offered them jobs, and I don't know how many took them, how many didn't take them, but that's so much different than Falcon and some of these other companies that just left them stranded across the country. Secondly, this week, I've had several very, very productive conversations with Roadrunner personnel, and I mean upper management. It started with my IC coordinator, independent contractor coordinator. And the way it began, they have an app you can use called Roadhound, where they, once a week, ask for your opinion about the company, things that are great, things they need to improve on. Well, I had some concerns, and I guess upper management looks at it first, and then they dole it out to who they think could resolve the issue the fastest or the best or whatever. And my IC coordinator contacted me. She said, hey, I saw your Roadhound post. She contacted me through text, and we spent a significant amount of time discussing concerns that I have. And you know, another thing that makes this not a bottom feeder company is they've actually taken time to listen to what I've got to say and try to address the concerns that I have. How many of those bottom feeder companies that those YouTubers compared Roadrunner to would do that, would take the time to listen to the drivers, hear their concerns? That doesn't mean that I'm going to get everything my way. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get everything I want and they're just going to cave and meet my every whim. But at least they're open-minded to hear alternative points of view. And anybody, you know, in this polarized nation, I'm not going to go off into politics, but right now we've got a country that everybody only wants to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear opposing sides. And it's refreshing to be somewhere where even if they disagree with me, even if ultimately I don't get my way, at least they're curious in hearing what I have to say. And I believe the productive conversations I've had this week, as well as the Roadhound app itself, prove that this is not only a good company, but I would say top tier. At this point, I'm prepared to say, based on the conversations I've had this week, that I highly recommend working here. I don't think at this point in time you can do better than Roadrunner Freight. Now, I'm not saying they're perfect, and I'm not saying that I don't ever have an issue or ever experience frustration. But I'm saying at least they care, at least they listen. And people listening to comments, and those guys, by the way, all of them I mentioned, have far bigger YouTube channels than me, have a lot more influence than I do. But for those guys to say the things they said without knowing is pretty irresponsible in my opinion. But anyway, back to it. After I talked to my IC coordinator, she said, hey, you made some good points. I'm going to email them what you said. And she said, I can't promise anything will change, but I'll at least give them your perspective. Well, early this morning, another guy called me, and he's higher up. And actually, he emailed me first. He said, hey, I've noticed your YouTube videos. I'd really like to talk to you about them. And so he and I talked several times this morning. I kept losing my signal. Again, another very productive conversation. He listened to everything I had to say. I listened to everything he had to say. And I feel like we made some real progress. And so I would have to call this a top tier company for that reason. For one, when they did lay off people and they offered them jobs in the more productive parts of the company. And two, when I addressed issues on the Roadhound app, they got with me and wanted me to elaborate and tell them more, and were interested in a solution. And so if you're looking for a company to work, I can't stress enough what a great company I think Roadrunner Freight has become. I was frustrated when their systems was down, but they were frustrated. It was a tough time for the company. And they've got their systems back up. Everything seems to be great. I'm on a load going to Houston right now. I'm going to stop by the house, take a 34. I'm going to have a lot more videos coming out about this and other things. And so I would encourage you to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can share them on Facebook or the other social media platforms. Get the word out that this is a great company to work for, a great place to work. Roadrunner Freight is still hiring. Things are still going good over here. And who knows, in a few months, this streamlining may have an effect on Rich Logistics, and they may be making a comeback. I assume, I didn't ask, but I assume with the layoffs that they probably got a freeze on hiring right now. That would be expected. But they're going to turn that boat around too. And I think this is definitely something you want to be a part of. Now, things that are coming up. I found out what is happening with the excess Rich Logistics trailer. I'm going to do a video about that. Spoiler alert, it's more good news. I'm also going to talk about some other things too that are coming down the line. I'm going to talk about companies. Why start a company? Why do people start companies? What is the purpose of a company? I hear politicians say all the time about starting a company to create jobs. That's actually not the purpose of a company. A company is not actually created to start jobs. Jobs are actually a byproduct of a successful company. But to keep this video short, I'm going to save that for the future. And I've got lots more coming down the line. Make sure you don't miss it. Like and subscribe. Down in the description, I'm going to put my email address. If you're interested in knowing more about Roadrunner Freight, shoot me an email, and I'll get back with you. And I'll get you in touch with a recruiter that can answer more of your questions. But until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.